mouth shut.
There's more information on the shooter. Now, obviously, as you know, Thomas Matthew Crooks, age 20, shot at and missed Donald Trump on the July 13th rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. In Western Pennsylvania, he's a Western Pennsylvania boy himself. Obviously, he's a registered Republican, which was already a weird, unique moment. The fact that he was a white boy, like a cis-het white boy in appearance, wearing like gun YouTuber merchandise, kind of immediately got people to quiet down on the many different avenues that they usually explore in the aftermath of a shooting like this, where they just start blaming entire marginalized communities for the actions of one. But because he was white, thank God, people didn't immediately rush to that conclusion, even though people are now rushing to that conclusion. As a matter of fact, they're just lying. They just decided he's a white male, but now he's trans, according to some psychopaths online. No indication that he's trans at all. Having said that, there are some new developments in the story. The new developments, however, make the situation even a little bit more confusing. What is the political what people are looking for right now? And it seems like he might have been an extreme centrist.
The investigation into the attempted assassination of former President Trump, learning what the FBI found on the shooter's phone. Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas has the latest now.
This morning, new details from the former Thomas Matthew Crooks. Sources telling ABC that the FBI's examination of his phone revealed that he searched for the date of the Trump rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, as well as dates for the upcoming Democratic National Convention in Chicago. The searches uncovered no indication of his political views, but agents did find images of both President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump. And now new
Bro, this is okay. This part is the funniest. Why are you searching for images of the president and also the former president? Like, you don't know what they look like? This Joe Biden guy, what does he look like? How is that not plastered in your brain already?
Police see he has a rangefinder, which can be used to establish distance for target practice. And at 5:52 p.m., a sniper spotted Crooks on the roof, roughly 20 minutes before he takes his first shot. At 6:02, Trump walks onto the stage.
Someone's on top of the roof. Look.
The crowd noticed a suspect on the roof. An officer climbs up the building, falls to the ground after Crooks aims his weapon at him. At 6:12, the first shots ring out.
Take a look at what happened.
A Secret Service counter sniper from a distance away sees the commotion. He has to make a split-second decision in the span of 26 seconds.
20 minutes, that's crazy. Those numbers are wild, okay? Wait, another video?
So that's when I left office. That was the lowest, and that comes right from the government services, comes right out of Border Patrol. Take a look at that. So that arrow is the lowest.
The police are so desperately defunded, dude. They're just so defunded, brother. That's what it is, you know? When I'm thinking of a group of people defunded, I'm always thinking about the military and law enforcement in general. They are the most well-funded, most adequately funded organization that is, you know, a part of the government.
Ever in recorded history into our country. And then the history took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to see something that said, take a look at what happened.
I mean, new video, he just takes a selfie while the dude's getting shot. This video sucks, brother. Overfunded libraries and teachers, yeah. When I'm thinking of a group of individuals that are sucking up these government funds, I'm thinking of teachers. I'm thinking of people who fill up potholes. I'm thinking of the dudes who are working on the roads, electricians. I'm thinking of people that are like building out our infrastructure, librarians, libraries in general. Good stuff overall. This video sucks. That he was looking to potentially he was looking at depressive disorder. He's Googling that, not going all right in his brain, which is pretty obvious overall. But of course, that hasn't stopped empathic weirdos on the right from going and lying and saying, anyone wondering why they aren't using this photo of the shooter? I wonder why they're not using random trans person that you found online. This seems to be a random person with 4chan users trying to spread falsehoods. Also, the picture by Paul Hookham is clearly edited, made it to look as if it comes from TikTok. See the original pic in the link. But that's where we're at. Holy crap, Hookham, is that real? And then they have this like copy of shooters all being like non-binary or trans or whatever. Like, dude, we are officially at a level of madness and mania where you can make up literally anything and a decent percentage of people will believe it. It's so unimaginably psychotic. A viral post on Twitter and Facebook is claiming that Trump's shooter was actually a trans woman who's shared by far-right accounts and Alex Jones. The problem? It's of an unrelated trans woman named Rose. I spoke with Rose today. The post alleging that a trans woman was the actual shooter of Donald Trump went mega viral yesterday, and today, like many times before, it is of an unrelated transgender person. Read my full story here where I interview her. One of the major accounts pushing disinformation is Paul Hookham, who posted a picture of Rose with the caption, "Wonder why they didn't use his picture." The account claims to have been unbanned by Elon Musk after being banned for 4 years. Was then shared by larger influencers, including Alex Jones, who has a history of disinformation. It's just so f***ed up. It's so f***ed up. No one cares about the truth. This is the beginning and the end. People have always had biases. People have always spread misinformation. There's no check on this whatsoever. When there's no control over this, even a little bit. When people have no interest, no regard for the truth whatsoever. And there's a lot of mistrust in mainstream outlets. Some of it is actually well-deserved mistrust, by the way, because mainstream media drops the ball quite frequently, especially when it comes to foreign policy. That matters to a lot of people. When the Iraq War happened and the New York Times and all these other outlets promoted narratives that were complete falsehoods without doing for American foreign policy, that no longer trusting media as much. It happened for bad reasons. A lot of people's brains were broken by COVID and for unwarranted reasons. And basically they confirmation bias from independent, unverified outlets, and media literacy has gotten worse and worse. TikTok also plays a big role in this as well. TikTok can be good, but it also can be very bad at the same time. CNN, it was a mostly peaceful assassination. We need to stop misinformation laws. Both sides do it. CNN, it was a mostly peaceful assassination. CNN never said that. You're making that up. If anything, CNN has been kind of glazing Trump quite a bit since the assassination. So I don't know what you're on about right now. That's a hog doing the mostly peaceful protest meme about BLM, because it was. 98% of Black Lives Matter protests that happened all around the United States. Black Lives Matter protests that turned into not the consequence of police brutality. The police were the escalating factor there. You've already beamed this kind of misinformation into your mind so much that you can't even think about it critically at all. Has there ever been a time when the media was trusted in the USA? Can't think of a time since yellow journalism. Over the course of many years, I think the mistrust in the media has grown a lot, especially as like there are more outlets overall. Like people still personally think that like Portland was on fire nonstop. Okay, 95 isn't true. There were studies conducted on it. That was where the cover. The United States mapping out the protests that happened. Doesn't matter though, because it's the same narrative with the crime panic. It's the same narrative with the images. You see these emotional, impactful images play over perception. It warps your perception. It makes you think this is happening all the time. I live in Los Angeles. I live at the heart of like all of this crime, this violent crime that's occurring, right? And I would tell people all the time, like, what are you talking about? Like, no, there is no massive increase in violent crime occurring in Los Angeles. I'm looking at the data. I'm looking at my own personal experience on a day-to-day basis. And people were telling me, people living in Ohio were telling me, no, you're stupid. You're just lying. Jank was telling you, Lowell. I know. And that's what's so crazy about it. Because if you remember the conversation that I had with Jank, I kept giving him information. I kept giving him empirical data. And he kept resorting to an emotional moment that he had. And sometimes that's all it takes. Didn't you say your friend's car got stolen recently? Of course. Crime is a constant. What are we talking about? There is no world where there is zero crime. In Japan, when there's more public transit, for example, Grand Theft Auto doesn't happen with higher frequency, but they steal bikes all the time. Like, depending on where you are, of course there's going to be is not to deny that crime ever exists. The point I'm making is not crime at all. The point that I'm making is you can't look at just individual acts of crime and go, I'm inferring that crime is actually out of control. You literally are supposed to look at it and go, let's look at the data. Let's look at the broader picture. Is there more crime happening right now than the year prior? If the answer is no, then crime is on a downwards trend. Crime has historically been on a downwards trend for decades. Okay. Recognize that. Why did I talk about this? Because this is very dangerous. It's very dangerous that like misinformation that corresponds to your biases gets so much pickup nowadays, more so than ever before, especially at a time when trust in media is lower than ever. So there's no place that people can look to that they trust, that they can use as their North Star, basically, to be like, I don't know if this is correct or not. That's the situation that we're experiencing. Like, trans people are underrepresented in the population. They are so unimaginably marginal. It's less than 1% of the population. It's tiny, minuscule fraction. They're also unimaginably underrepresented in the population of mass shooters. But it doesn't matter because it's a great narrative. You know who's overrepresented in the population of mass shooters? White people, white men specifically. This is a great way to just turn around and be like, no, this is not a white man. It's actually a trans person. It's actually a trans woman. That's the way that they've basically come up with a perfect counter. Back in the day, people used to say, oh, if it's a white guy, he's just like a depressed loner. He's a shooter. It's because they bullied him. It's because they bullied him. It's fine.
Okay, next up, let's talk about Black Myth Wukong. There was a recent preview beat. Unfortunately, we couldn't make it to that, but NVIDIA has announced further details about its marketing tie-up. It looks as though we are indeed going to be getting full RT in this really exciting game. A blog post from NVIDIA this week which showed, well, a single asset, which seemed to be a screenshot showing, described as RTX on off. And we also saw some benchmarks, which people are saying look pretty.
Today, we have a CPU's battle here. Battle between Pentium Pro and Pentium 1 on one motherboard. How this is possible? Because I got few nice pieces of hardware, which you can see here. Well, all hardware on the table looks very nice. But I spent 1 week of my life to kick back for work. I was getting a lot of errors, issues or fouls by everything. For example, like BIOS checksum error. I must made hot flash for 2 other chips. I got a lot of problems with booting CD-ROM, hard drive or operating systems. But finally, everything works fine. This baseboard operates with Sims 72 pins. The best I found in my office, you can see here. Together, 2 56 megs. Graphic card by Metrox with 2 megs of RAM plus 6 megs in module. Windows and maybe Workstation Edition. But again, I got a lot of problems with start boot up this system. Finally, I chose Windows 2000 because Windows NT has bad benchmarks. You can see that I'm using 5 pairs of Pentium 1 from socket 5 and socket 7. This gold Pentium 1 CPU has a classic FDIV bug for Pentium Pro CPUs. Maybe nice black ones. Well, Asus made several revisions to the CPU board. Of course, I'm owning 1.1, which it's a little bit sick. First pair of Pentium 1, which I am sending to fire, is socket 4, gold Pentium 19 MHz and 60 MHz FSB. This test is compare CPUs, especially dual CPUs. I am using a benchmark Super
stratosphere, catastrophic, grab your rear. Everybody here is a tragedy.
You ever reach way back into your brain and uncover something from the not too distant past that seems weirdly obvious yet isn't popular anymore? That's right, I'm talking about window awnings. You used to see these everywhere, especially on those cute brick ranches according to the house where you grew up. I'm sure that's a universal experience. But lately, they've fallen out of fashion, and I would like to make the case that we should get them back. Quick programming note, I'm not going to be recommending any specific kind of awning or product line or anything like that. I am not here to sell you anything, YouTube ads notwithstanding, though I do like spreading ideas. And awnings are one of those ideas that our ancestors figured out, but as far as I can tell, we just decided we're too cool for these days. Which is ironic because window awnings keep you cool. That's their point, or at least a central point. See, we like windows. Maybe not that kind, but that kind is pretty universally liked. They bring natural light and allow us to look outside. Sucks. And our ancestors knew this. They figured out that if you designed a structure so that the windows couldn't be in direct sunlight, then there would be no greenhouse effect, and the interior of that structure would stay much cooler. Those grand covered porches you see on fancy old houses throughout much of the southern US weren't just for enjoying the breeze, they kept the windows entirely shaded. In fact, they kept pretty much the entire structure. And it wasn't just plantation houses. The galleries attached to historic French Quarter buildings also help keep the buildings cool. Notice how the building is in direct sunlight here, but almost the entire structure is in shade. I can't earnestly say that shading windows was the point of a covered porch. It also created a pleasant outdoor space and protected windows and doors from the elements to point to complete the proper taste. Seems like the author really likes awnings. But why? It's all about keeping comfortable. An awning on the porch, the afternoon sun is shining. They will keep the porch shady and pleasant, and this also reduces the temperature of the rooms adjoining the porch. And here's my favorite part. The fact that the awning excludes the sun from the window glass is quite an important asset in reducing the temperature of the room, and in preventing the fading of wallpaper and carpet. Sure seems like awnings are the cat's meow. In 1925, Hal and Helen Davis wrote in Better Homes and Gardens that foolish... That's right, we just got called fools by the Davis family. Honestly, this article is a useful tool for understanding how they were spreading. It even breaks down the differences in awning configurations by locale and the pros and cons of various types. This used to be a big deal, and they were a selling point for your home. Real estate firms are beginning to learn the value. Plus, they're just a fun accent piece. I mean, who wouldn't want to flaunt their unusually picturesque nature with a cool set of Arabian awnings? The Spears really sell it. But 100-year-old magazine articles are one thing, and the real world is another. How big were awnings really? Well, if you dingle around on the old street and visit practically any old Chicago neighborhood, you'll find plenty of houses which still have exterior windows, especially south and west-facing windows. You can see in this image how effective they are. This side of the house is being hit with direct sunlight, but the awning is almost entirely shading the window below it. Thanks to that awning, the old front room is staying much cooler than it would without it. Many of these products also allow you to leave windows open in the rain, at least if they were installed correctly and you had the right kind of window. They offered a lot of benefits. Yet, despite remaining extant in various styles, the functional purpose of window awnings seems to have almost entirely left the public consciousness. Why'd this happen? I'm going to say it relates to two factors: air conditioning and fashion. The advent of mechanical air conditioning diminished the importance of the passive tricks we used to rely on to keep cool. As more and more people started hooking up energy-consuming air conditioners to the power grid, boy, I hope it can keep up with all that. Oh, sorry, wrong topic. As more and more people got air conditioning, suddenly the temperature in their home was controllable. And so long as those air conditioners were powerful enough to overcome the heat gain from solar irradiance, the awnings that previously helped keep us cool in a heat wave didn't seem necessary any longer. And technically, they weren't. So fast forward a decade or two, and new homes are getting built without them. No need for awnings when we can pump the heat right out. That meant that all the older homes with awnings started to look dated. And if there's one sin in the fashion world, it's looking dated. As you can tell, I take this very seriously. Beyond fashion, though, awnings on a home may very well have been a sign that the home didn't have air conditioning. And I'll bet many a realtor in the 1960s suggested taking them down. No one wants a house with awnings, they'd say. Those are for old fuddy-duddies. And now, other than that one infomercial, awnings are largely forgotten. But dang it, I think it's time for us to consider bringing them back. For one,
You guys killing and blowing up the servers.